I think that the gambling in video games has gotten worse over the last 10 years. It's gotten worse because companies can't recoup their losses with video games as much, so they turn to different things like these surprise mechanics or loot boxes in order to simulate gambling because they make more money. Also, I think that whenever these things happen and they get more popular, other companies see them and then they adopt the same practices. It's the same as whenever we had Fates in Final Fantasy, then we had World Quests in WoW, then we had random events in Lost Ark, and now we're getting the same thing in Diablo 4. It's just industry standards and industry best practices. And guess what's happening? Loot boxes are becoming an industry best practice. And I don't want that to be the case. I think that loot boxes simulate gambling for young people. It simulates gambling under the guise of not being gambling. I think that it's very obvious that it preys on people with addictions and people with disabilities. And if it doesn't, then why do you have all these people that are saying that they've wasted all of this money on it and there's something wrong with them? How would this happen? Well, it's obvious because it's preying on them. And I think that the worst part about it is it's doing so while purporting to be something else, while pretending to be something else. FIFA, this is not a soccer game. This is a card pack opener. That's what it is. So I'm tired of having these things in games. I think that not only are they ruining video games, but on top of ruining video games, they're ruining people's lives. And they're ruining people's lives in a subversive way that goes under the radar and is intentionally not done in a way that can be regulated by the government. But I think that that's not true. I think that the Netherlands and Belgium have regulated these things already. We are going to talk to some people from there as well. And I don't see why it can't be that way in the United States. I don't think that having kids buy into these things and start gambling whenever they're 8 years old is healthy. At all. It's horrible. It should be marked as gambling and either be sold to people that are only 21 or 18 and above, or it should be just, in my opinion, made illegal entirely. Or with a massive fucking label on it, the same as cigarettes have. I don't really care as much about it being on Twitch, like gambling being on Twitch. I'll make one thing clear. I know that some people might have gotten it twisted recently. I don't think gambling should be on Twitch. And by the way, neither does XQC, and I think Trainwrecks probably feels the same way too. I'm not sure. They don't think that either. But it is, so they take advantage of it. Of course, right? It's massive amounts of money. Why wouldn't they? No. It's simple, right? It's like, imagine if you could have a button in a video game, and you click the button that gives you 1 million gold. Everybody would click the button. I'd smash it. But everybody would probably agree that this is a bad button to have in the game, right? So you can take advantage of something while simultaneously thinking that it should not exist. That's just one example. So all I'm really trying to get at here is this. I view gambling on Twitch as just a symptom of the problem. And if you get rid of gambling on Twitch, what's going to happen is that people will just gamble in a different way. They will gamble in a abstraction way. In the same way that they did like CSGO loot box openings, etc. They'll just do something else similar to that. That's what I would say. Should boxes and cases be banned on Twitch too? I think that it's very easy to draw the line at slots. I don't think this is some slippery slope thing. I don't. I think the difference, and like you could maybe make the argument that like CSGO cases are the same thing. I think that you can very easily make the argument that gambling money is very different than gambling with video games and loot boxes, because with loot boxes, you know that money, there's a 0% chance of recouping that loss. You will never make your money back. You will only continue to spend more money and get more value for it. But the problem with like something like slots is that you can win $1 million. If you get it twisted, you can win $1 million. You can rebuild your life. You will become a billionaire. But the odds are it's not going to happen. That's what the difference is. What's this here? There are Pokemon cards, Magic cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards for kids. Aren't they essentially gambling for kids? I think you can make that argument, sure. I think there's other things that are gambling too, but I think the loot boxes are it's pretty low-hanging fruit, and it's something that you can address and look at directly, and it's obviously bad. So it's like, You always get mired down whenever you try to think of every exception and every hypothetical and every comparison. I think that loot boxes are bad and you should just focus on those, right? Yeah, one step at a time, man. Just focus on that. That's what's bad, and that's all there is to it for me. You can sell CSGO skins, though. There's a million different trade sites. That's why I said it was a little bit different. Yeah, I know that. In certain games, loot boxes, you can still make your money back by selling the skins. Yes, I know that's a little bit different. So I would say that makes it worse, if not better.